is appealing a conviction, the new get out of jail for now card. In two high-profile cases, an attempted murderer and a convicted rapist are walking the streets while they await an appeal. Tonight, at least one survivor says she feels she's been let down by the system.
It's just put more emotional distress, psychological distress into the mix.
Mandy Gray had hoped to finally put her sexual assault case behind her after Mustafa Uryar was found guilty 2 weeks ago. The York U grad student's bail was revoked while he awaited sentencing. But this week, a Supreme Court judge overturned that decision after Uryar filed an appeal of his conviction. He's now been released on bail and is allowed to return to Vancouver to live with his girlfriend.
To me, it just looks like he's buying more time. And how long is the appeal going to take? I don't know. And then I'm kind of stuck in this space of I'm kind of tied to it, but and people say, oh, you're not involved in it, but it's hard to just separate that from your everyday life.
Now, typically, it takes months for an appeal to be heard. In the case of Constable James Forcillo, his is expected for spring of 2017. Until then, he'll be out on bail. Forcillo spent just one night in jail after being sentenced last week to 6 years in the shooting death of Sammy Yatim. But defense lawyer Maya Martin says it's not uncommon for convicted criminals to be released on bail while they await their appeal hearing, as long as they prove their appeal has merit.
You don't automatically get bail. In order to get bail, you have to show the appeal is not frivolous, you're going to show up and you're going to surrender when it comes time for the appeal, and that there's no other public interest reason why you should be detained.
Martin says while it can be difficult for victims to watch those convicted of crimes walk out of the courthouse, releasing them on bail ensures a person who's accused doesn't spend months behind bars when there are serious questions surrounding their trial.
It's not a get out of jail free card. With respect to the Forcillo appeal, it's really this issue about whether what happened was a single transaction or whether it should have been treated as two separate offenses, so those two series of shots. With respect to the sexual assault case, there's a real concern that there was a reasonable apprehension of bias by the trial judge.
While Gray says she understands the process is meant to avoid wrongful convictions, she says she knows the judge in her case got it right.
My hope is that their appeal isn't successful because, to be quite honest, I feel like they're grasping at straws. I feel that the lawyers are trying to rack up as many billable hours as possible, and unfortunately, I am the collateral damage in this system.
Now, what is unusual about the sexual assault case is that Mustafa Uryar actually filed his appeal before he was even sentenced. So his sentencing will still happen next month, and if he gets jail time, he will still be released until that appeal is heard.